Good morning and welcome to Jew in the City Speaks with your host, Allison, also known as Jew in the City. We get to talk to some really cool people around here doing this podcast. And the neat thing about having this community of Jew in the City followers and fans is that whenever there's news of some Orthodox Jew doing something out of the box or something exceptional, all the people start writing in. Did you hear about Liba Yoffe? Did you hear about Liba Yoffe? There's this really cool woman in a skirt and a wig that's doing all this, really exceptional training, and she's going to be on American Ninja Warrior. You have to have her on your show. So we got that messaging for a little while. We wanted to wait until Liba was actually on the show, which she has been on now, and the show is just coming out. And so we are delighted to hear her story, how she got to be on American Ninja Warrior, how she got to be the founder of Spirit Fit Life. Liba, thank you so much for having us, for joining us on our show.
Thank you for having me. I feel privileged.
So I guess start us off with your background. Where did you grow up? What was your Jewish background like growing up?
So I grew up in Rockaway, New York. And my parents are both Balchuvas. My dad's actually from Alabama. So we were definitely a unique family with, a lot of diversity within, our family. But I was raised Orthodox, and I've been to Beis Yaakov's my whole life. And I currently now live in Phoenix, Arizona with my family.
Oh, cool. And so Spirit Fit Life, as you were explaining to me before the show started, it's sort of a mind-body program to help women become leaders of their own lives. So I guess tell me, we certainly want to understand like when you got into exercising and then sort of when the mind-body connection leadership thing got started.
So I'll take you back to, from when I was a teenager. I was always active. It was something that was like my outlet. It kept me out of trouble. It was a way of me like using all my energy in a positive way. And part of, how it started, like even me being an American Ninja Warrior, is that I never had those chances as a kid to be in competitions or to be part of a team or anything on like a level past like doing things on my own, So
can you give us an example of some activities you did do on your own?
So I did everything. My school was like 4.5 miles away. I used to rollerblade there every morning. Bike, used to, when I was, 14 years old, I would bike at, like, it was like 6 miles there, 6 miles back. And I played basketball. I ran. I did gymnastics. Me and my friends, we would just teach ourselves everything. So, that's, anything I get my hands on, I would do.
Mm-hmm. So you did it on your own. You did not have the chance to do it formally. And then what came next? When did you decide that you would like that there should be more formal? Is that what it was?
Right. So it was more of like, that was something, a passion that I always had, and I wanted to, bring it like that was, the career I was going to go into. I started off with, with helping teenagers. I had summer programs for kids, and would take them extreme wilderness outdoors adventure type of, 6-week program. It started in that area, and then I became a doula and a childbirth educator and a personal trainer. And Spirit Fit Life is kind of a culmination of all the things that I've done together, because I've helped women, through childbirth. I've helped women, get fit. I've helped women, right? But not together. And when I realized that you can't really help somebody fully if you're not like, taking their whole self into it. Because, you could teach them exercise, but then they go home and, they have all these, things that they're coming with, right? Their, self-confidence and their way they talk to themselves, and you're not really empowering them. Mm-hmm. So I knew that there was something a lot more. I knew there was like something, there's a mission for me that wasn't in the world before. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't know how much like as soon as I opened Spirit Fit Life, it was like a flood. Mm-hmm. Like it grew so fast. Like right now we have 7 employees like working for me, and we're like in a few different countries, because there is nothing like this, like that, women to have such a high level of support and one-on-one and all these different areas, something that's like lacking in our community. So
Are you
It's
only
a,
working with Jewish women, or do you offer these services to anyone who comes to you?
so I attract basically all Jewish women. We've had one, 1 to 5, I would say, of religious Christians come throughout the program. And I've enjoyed that, but in general, it's basically all Jewish women.
In terms of sort of there being no official outlets when you were growing up, I mean, I think this is sort of the question of the times and then also certain circles, because I had a woman who grew up, more modern than what you grew up, and she was playing ice hockey, years ago. Now she's like an ice hockey coach of a local high school here for modern Orthodox girls. And there's a million sports in my daughter's schools. So do you think that there's been improvements on a communal level since you grew up in terms of giving girls more options in the circles where you came from?
Yeah, I mean, the some of the schools do have, like my kids' school here in Arizona, um, and it's the more right-wing school, they do have soccer team and they do have, different options for the girls.
Mhm.
They're still not in the, some of the school systems, but there's definitely more opportunities, much more, acceptable, um, to have these things in our school system.
I agree. And I hope it continues, because these are all good outlets, and it should only continue more, because this is how to be healthy, which I guess is your point about the mind and body connection. Can you give us an idea of what kind of services you offer in Spirit Fit Life?
So we have part of our program is, customized personal training program. So that means that like everybody's program is created around their life, their lifestyle, whether they work full time, whether they're home, whether they just gave birth, right? It's all created like really for you so that it's extremely manageable. We have a whole nutrition program, which is the anti-diet, which is really just giving you skills and learning, have a healthy relationship with food, and your body. And then a big part of our program is the whole self-development mindset. So we really dig deep into like self-talk and vulnerability and self-confidence and scheduling and sleep schedules and everything, all aspects of your life. We have one-on-one coaching, we have workshops, we've had retreats. This year we just had our one in Arizona. We have 2 retreats a year. And there's a lot of other stuff, but that's like, a little bit of an overview.
All right, taking care of your body from the nutrition side, from the
Inside out.
side, and having a healthy mind. Where does your Judaism play into this? What are sort of the Torah values that inspire you, or that you feel are aligned with this type of, helping women?
Well, in order to have a real connection with God, you have to, right? That's why my program is called Spirit Fit Life, right? It's because like it's all your spirit, it's all your soul. So you can't really connect like in a healthy way to God if you're not connected like in a real level to yourself, right? Like if you're just busy giving and you're not stopping to think and you're just depleting yourself, like you can't really, focus on, like you can't really hear your own voice. You don't even know really, right? So it all has to start from building ourselves, to be able to build that real relationship with God and to be able to give that over. Like we can't give over to our children a healthy relationship if they see like a depleted woman, or they see like someone who's, let's say, let's say a mom is like developed and happy and going after her passions, like, right, then that relationship that mom has with Judaism is going to come over from a place of joy, right? So it's everybody's on their own spiritual level, so I don't go into like specifics, but it's the spiritual part of ourselves connected to God. And also it's like it's so clear, like you have to take care of yourself,
Yeah.
and like that's important.
I'll give you a little Torah that I realized recently that I think totally fits into what you're doing, in case you want to use it. It's the first of the 10 commandments is sort of a weird commandment that God is sort of announcing who he is, but not really being commanded to do anything. It's just like, Anochi Hashem, right? I'm Hashem. I took you out of Egypt. And what I came to wonder after working with a population, we're dealing with an Haredi Hasidic population in our organization through Project Makom. A lot of people did not get that basic foundation, that sort of basic foundational idea that like their self matters and that their self, sort of has a right to exist, take up space, make noise. And so I think that before Hashem commands us for all the things that we have to do to serve him, to have a relationship with him, the first thing he's telling us is to be able to say, this is who I am. I am me. This is what I do. I can take up space. I can have a voice. So sort of before the commandments even begin, the first point of it is to just even have a self that you can declare to the world.
Yes.
I think that you love it. Thank you. Okay, yes. So now let's move on to American Ninja Warrior. So how did this come about? When did this come about? Was this not a lifelong dream because it hasn't been around for that long, but when did you get this idea that you would like to swing on things on television?
So I'm always like a risk taker. Like, you challenge me, I have to do it. And I actually was about 2 years ago doing a lot of powerlifting, so heavy lifting. It was something that I knew I was very strong, but as a teenager, I was embarrassed of it because it wasn't cool to lift heavy weights. It wasn't feminine. It wasn't it was weird a little. So I was had a fear of it. So that was the first thing to break through that and to show girls strength is a good thing. I started powerlifting, and I did not realize how strong I actually was, and I was breaking records. But I couldn't compete because they wouldn't let me compete in a skirt. So I basically stopped doing that because they wouldn't let me go farther. Mm-hmm. And when somebody actually saw me right on social media, and they're like, you must do Ninja Warrior. It is it's you, right? Mm-hmm. And I've seen it and stuff like that. And they challenged me, you should go check it out, go try it out, right? Because I'm always hanging from my roofs and stuff. This was about 7 months ago. Mm-hmm. So I quickly looked up the local ninja gym, and I went. And I remember telling him, he's like, oh, what brought you here? I was like, this is something that, I want, this looks like so much fun. And I also want, to be able to show other girls that that they can do these types of stuff. And, if and maintain their level of their values. Right. That was the first, when I walked in there, I didn't know what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm. Can you just back us up for a moment, just because for those of us that are not as knowledgeable on the ninja gyms, so you looked it up. So are there gyms affiliated with this American Ninja Warrior show all over the country, all over the world? So can you walk us through that?
Right. Okay. So ninja is actually a sport, right? There's ninja gyms all over the world, right?
Got it. Mm-hmm.
There's competitions that are not part of American Ninja Warrior. American Ninja Warrior is a TV show.
So what is the ninja sport? And I'll take us even a step behind that, because I just knew it was a TV show. What's the ninja sport, and then what are the ninja gyms?
So ninja, right? So ninja, the sport of ninja is basically there's tons of hanging and swinging and flying through the air, and it takes a lot of upper body strength and grip strength. There's a lot of people who do ninja who were used to be competitive gymnasts or competitive, right? There's most of the people there come. The first thing they ask me is what'd you do before this? For sure you're something. I'm like, right? You're for sure some sort of athlete if you're here. Mm-hmm. So most everyone has done something, that brought them to that, to this sport. Mm-hmm. And there's competitions, like regular competitions all the time. World, and and it's only so based on your level of ninja. Right?
How do you out ninja the other person? How do you do better? Is it about speed? Is it about not falling off?
So there's a whole course. So let's say this Sunday there's a competition. There's a whole course, and the ninja gyms are doing it all over the country. Mm-hmm. And you if you fall, right, you get a certain amount of points based on how many you can go through without falling, without, right? You obviously you can't touch the ground. You have to do everything without falling. It's whether it's climbing or flying through the air or holding on to teeny little things hanging. So that's basically, and then there's sometimes it's timed also, you beat someone by time also.
Okay, so ninja's the sport, ninja gyms all over the world. You went to the ninja gym 7 months ago and you started training essentially.
Right. And so then there's this show called American Ninja Warrior, and most ninjas want to get on it. It's not easy. There's only I think 400 applicants that get accepted, and there's 700,000 that apply. So yeah, so there's people who've been trying to get on the show for years and years and years.
Do you think your being an Orthodox Jew gave you an edge, that you were a little bit different than other
Oh, for
contestants?
sure. Yeah. So that's for sure. So the difference between American Ninja Warrior is that it's not just talent, it's also story. So
Mm,
like if you have a story and you have the talent, then you have, right, something
good.
above somebody else.
Got it.
Everybody there is a story. Every person that you speak to there has some story that brought them there.
So can you tell us a little about like what story you shared with them that they selected you with? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, for sure. So basically, I showed them my skills, right, my athletic ability, and then also I shared with them my story, like my mission was very clear. Like I wanted to be the first Orthodox Jewish woman to be on that stage in a skirt and like a wig and dress modestly, so that all the women and girls around the world can see that, like, this is possible, right? You know how many, like, I've gotten so many messages like, show this to my daughters, right? That was the point.
Yeah.
So that was, and also I have a daughter who has alopecia, which means that she's bald, right? Completely bald. And to like, for meaning she's in my videos also, right? So kids and women and mothers, everyone can see that, like, to be confident with who you are, and what you are, and these things build you. So my big drive to get on the show.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I can tell you, working with a population that has been hurt by sort of the Jewish world and Jewish rituals, and even women I know that themselves are not wearing skirts, and I don't know if they'll cover their hair one day. It's sort of the symbolism of it is too painful. They have posted on our Malcolm group that they're looking at you with so much awe. So it's really an incredible thing,
100%. Yeah.
which is why, are trying to make associations about orthodoxy to be a positive thing that's about healthiness
Yes.
and about being, a person that uses your talents, that, again, holistically, through and through, is healthy and thriving and sort of using those talents that God put us here to do. You're such an incredible example for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
So how much you started training 7 months ago? What's the timeline of applying versus finding out you did it versus more training versus filming the show? Take us through that timeline.
Yes. It's also, just wanted to point out what you said before, exactly, like, even meaning it's a kid, it's like an example of like a woman who follows, right, these things. Like, it doesn't, I don't talk only to religious people, meaning that's not my voice. It's like, yeah, like you could be whatever, right? Like, meaning be proud, and those things don't have to hold you back. Like, you can go after and do anything, and no one, you know what I mean? So I'm happy that you shared that with me. That's important to me. So basically you find out within 2 months of sending your application around, and then we had about 2 months after that.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do once you found out that you were chosen? You were able to share that publicly, so I know that there were some social media posts about that. How did you up your training regimen? Were you just kind of like continuing to do the same thing? And what was your training regimen like? Maybe walk us through that.
So so with the ninja also, you can't overtrain, because like your hands will fall off.
Got it.
Like my hands are like ripped, and I don't know if you can see, like, well, I went to a private class, like in addition to my other classes, like one-on-one, which was awesome, because then you can just keep doing the same skill over and over until you get it. So and I definitely like upped my training. I would do like ninja probably 3 times a week, and then my own like workouts, building strength in other areas. The thing that I had a massive disadvantage was I have no exposure whatsoever to competition,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that is extremely necessary for being on competitions. Like, you can be an elite athlete, but if you don't, right? It's like, if you don't have that, and every time I ask people, like, they're like, you just need exposure. That's the only way to prepare yourself. So
Yeah.
I wasn't even able to go to the local competitions because they're all on Saturday, all of them, all on Saturday. Even the one that's this week, it's on Saturday. So I'm going to the kids one just to like be there and get kind of an experience, but I still can't, right? So even there's nobody on the show that has never been in competitions ever.
Wow.
So it was like
a disadvantage, but you got there anyway. How did so it seems like the producers wanted you for your being different, and with all the just continuous negative examples of Orthodox stories and Orthodox Jews in news media, which captures the crooks, creeps, and extremists, and, fictional stories, whether it's people's personal tragic stories of being, just deeply hurt by people within the Orthodox world, or even the fictional renditions of them. We see so few examples in the media that are positive. So love it that the producers wanted to do for that. What was it like to be competing in a skirt? What was it like to, obviously stick out? Were there any sort of anecdotal moments with other competitors or people in the audience? Any ways, kosher food? Yeah. How did that play out on the show itself?
So it was like, for myself, I happened to like have been like myself struggling, like, oh, my skirt, it's so annoying. Like, I don't want to, like, what, I always have to stand out, like during training. And on the show itself, like while I was there, it was 3 days. It was like this overwhelming feeling of like, I was so proud. Like, I haven't felt that in so long. Like, I was so proud to represent what I was representing. And everyone was asking me, like, so what's your skirt? Right? Like, what's your story? Like, obviously your skirt tells a story. And it was like, so many of them never met an Orthodox Jew before. And they thought it was so awesome and cool. And like, and I felt so proud to be able to represent like this. So this would be their exposure to what an Orthodox Jew is, so there was definitely something that kept coming up and kept coming up. And that, like, that was like a really, really proud thing that I was able to show these people, like, yeah, Orthodox Jew, next time they think about it, this is what they'll think about.
Totally. Yeah. As I made a journey towards dressing more modestly, and I took it on to wear a skirt one day, because I think there was sort of a transition as I was coming observant, like, do I want to out myself as a Jew like this? And the truth is that as I'm seeing more anti-Semitic, anti-Orthodox attacks happening, I feel even stronger that I want to be, sort of proudly seen and known for who I am, and, not back down or not hide in any way. So that's definitely an incredible thing to be able to, be sort of proudly outed as who you are, and also represent in a positive way. Any other like moments from the show that, sort of, anything around food or Shabbos, or, it was easy to handle all those different aspects in terms of observance?
It was on Pesach, which was very complicated. They were very accommodating. When I was supposed to come was during Pesach, the first days, and they like moved everything around for me. So I came with a different region. They were super accommodating in every area. They had kosher food, but like, it wasn't for Pesach. Like, I wasn't going to go and tell them, like, yeah, I wasn't going to go to, it was just like, there was nothing that didn't remind me like who I am. Like, every single step of the way was complicated. Wow. Like, everything, and they like put me on a special platform to take filming for TV of my skirt, literally. Like, they're like, we want to make sure we see your entire skirt, right? Like, to like, so that like would be represented, which was, interesting also. But
it's so interesting.
Yeah, they were really nice.
My friend Mayim Bialik was on What Not to Wear years ago, and she only was wearing skirts at that time, and they only gave her skirt outfits when they redid it, and nobody mentioned why that was. And they almost wanted to try to like skirt around the issue, pun intended. But I love that that they wanted to highlight this, and it's really it's so incredible, because there are so many stories like yours out there in different types and different genres, but women that are doing healthy, passionate, positive things should get to be heard as well. Any specific, stories or examples of, young girls that you've heard of, or women that you've heard of, since this was announced, who, talked about this inspiring them to make a positive change in their life, or in terms of something, athletic or something healthier?
Yeah, I mean, I like actually saved so many of the messages that were sent to me. But like, someone just messaged me yesterday. She's like, she's like, you inspired me. I took my daughter yesterday to a ninja gym. She's been asking me, like, she's been asking me about it for so long. I've got messages of, from mom saying like, oh my gosh, my daughter can't believe you made it. Like, this has been her dream. Yesterday, this girl was telling me that her two brothers like built a ninja gym in their backyard, and they can't believe that there's a religious woman that got on, right? So these are things that I'm, and just even just the fact of like that, if people are saying like, just by seeing someone up there, right? It's like, when you see someone that looks like you, it's like you see yourself in them somewhat, right? So so they all, so they're all able, like, it felt like to see some, like, that anything's possible, like, meaning even if it has nothing to do with a sport, it's like, if this is possible, then what I want to achieve is possible. That job that I always wanted is possible. The thing that I'm limiting myself to is possible. All those kind of things are messages that I've been getting.
I'll tell you something else that I've noticed over the years, sort of being in the business of Kiddush Hashem and also being in the business of helping to clean up the messes that cause the Chil Hashem. What I've seen is that when we see Kiddush Hashem, we lean into our Judaism. We want to be a part of that. When we see Chil Hashem, we turn away. We feel embarrassed. We feel humiliated. And we're like, I don't want to be part of that. So just by being, a beacon of positivity and, something proud, it just causes Jews everywhere to want to lean in and be more connected with that. We got 3 minutes to go. Quick question that's a yes or no. And then I guess final closing thoughts. There was a male from Ninja Warrior and a girl from Ninja Warrior. Have you ever connected with the two of them, or?
What? I mean, I never heard of that. There was one.
Oh, so there's a young girl. I can connect you afterwards if you're interested. We interviewed her and her father, and he said,
kid. She was a child?
Yeah, a kid. Yeah, a kid. I built her a ninja gym in the backyard, and I'm like, you built it? You're a builder? He's like, no, I Jewish built it. I hired someone. So he built her a ninja gym in the backyard. And then there was a young guy as well, but you are the first Orthodox female.
Yes. So I know the guy. We've been talking, and
that guy.
It's kind of like, this internal world, but yes, I was the first female. Mom, 4, and all that kind of stuff.
100%. Very cool. And then what is next? Any thoughts in our final 2 minutes? What do you see sort of next now that you've kind of made this it's a new level in terms of a platform? And, certainly as the show is airing now, I imagine your, visibility will, continue to grow. Do you have any thoughts on what's next?
Well, so first of all, only 30% of them get viewed, get actually on TV. And the other thing is that I didn't share this part, but I didn't do the way I wanted on the show, meaning I didn't perform the way I wanted. It wasn't a show of my athletic ability. It was, so there's two things. One is that the fact that whatever people see, if I get on TV, they still see the message is still there. Right. But for myself, I want to be really good. So meaning my training is just getting more rigorous because I want to come back stronger. But my message and my platform is my program, Spirit Fit Life. That is, everything's kind of connected to this because, the more people see that, the more then they look into, Spirit Fit Life, the more that they're able to actually heal themselves or help themselves. Right. So it's kind of all connected, just to continue changing lives, continue helping women build themselves and grow and strengthen themselves so that we can have a world of strong women.
Amazing. Beautiful. Well, I don't like to exercise, and just hearing you, I'm inspired. So maybe I'll go lift. Well, I wish you continued hatzlacha, keep inspiring, keep healing, and keep doing awesome things. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening. You can catch us same time, same place next week. Bye-bye.